Candidly Chaotic. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've never been here before. I like to use this channel to share homeschooling things and mom life and family adventures. I know I've been blessed, and I have been, I have benefited from other moms sharing things on their YouTube channels. And I have just learned that we all need, to tailor life to our own needs and our own styles. And so I think getting ideas from different places helps find my own place. And so I hope I can help, add a part to that for you. So if that sounds interesting or helpful to you, please just go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you can check it all out. So first of all, I should hit on, I have not had any new content in, I think it's been a little over a month, maybe 2 months, I don't know. We just had some family things that were coming up, and we were very busy, and there was a lot going on, and so it was just no space for me to do any YouTube stuff. But that seems to be settling down, and I have some ideas that I want to share with you all, and I want to get some ideas from you if you have things to share back. And so I hope that we can just hop right back in. Today I wanted to share about our new homeschool routine. So it is January 6th, and so the new 2021 year is very fresh. And everybody is excited about the potential that this year has. I hope we're excited anyways. And so I just wanted to share one of the things that we changed for, going into this new year. And so our routine is changing because we're just in a new season of life, and it needed to change. Our routine worked really well at the beginning of the school year. My youngest son turned 3 in October, and then he just, things changed. His personality, his developmental level, all that stuff changed, and that means that our routine needs to change. He was becoming quite a distraction during school, and he wasn't playing very well by himself. It just wasn't going well there towards the end, I'd say in November. And so I just realized I wanted to change things up. So how I went about doing that was I evaluated, what was the problem, and the problem was that my younger son changed developmentally and needed some different things. And I also think the problem was I was giving one-on-one time to my kindergartner, but not one-on-one time. I mean, we play and stuff, but not one-on-one time with my 3-year-old. And I think he was starting to realize, I want that one-on-one time. What about me? And I think that was part of his, he was, distracting. He was interrupting. He wasn't listening. And I think it's because he wanted attention. And so I needed to figure out how to fix that. And so I also know I want to move my kindergartner, not quickly by any means. He's very young, and I need to be teaching him a lot of things at this point, but I know eventually I want to teach him how to do more and more independent work, and I think I can lay the base for that now. And so I kept that in mind in making our new routine. And then I also know that in the fall of next year, my younger son will be in actual, preschool, and I will be doing things with him. And so I thought, let's get his feet wet and see what it feels like to do school for kind of real, without actually having any pressure on doing school. And so with all of that in mind, and kind of what the root problem was of why our routine wasn't working, I created a new routine for us. And so we've done it for 2 days so far. We started back, our first day back was January 4th. And it has gone pretty well. And honestly, so our first day of school was fantastic. Everybody had great attitudes. It just was really good. Our second day of school actually wasn't a great day, but the routine still worked well. And so that tells me that this is probably the right routine for us for this season, because it wasn't a great day, but it still worked well. So I just, first of all, want to encourage all of you or anyone listening that be willing to change your schedules and your routines, because life changes, our kids change, our own needs change, you know, life circumstances change, and changing up the routine can be like, you don't need to change everything, but changing up the routine can really be super helpful. Especially when you kind of dig in deep to why it's not working, what you're using now, then you can figure out what everybody needs to make it work. So anyways, with all that said, our new routine is not a whole lot different, but it's probably a bit more intentional, I would say. So we still do we have a calendar time, circle time. I mean, if my kids were older, I'd probably call it morning basket, but we don't have that much stuff. So I guess I call it circle time. And so we sing some songs, and we've always done that. We do the Pledge of Allegiance. I always forget about that, but we do it. We do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we sing some songs to help, you know, the kids learn some things and to have some fun and to maybe get some wiggles out. And then after we do the songs and stuff, then we do our calendar stuff. We put up the new date. We talk about the day of the week. I didn't used to go through the whole days of the week every single day, but we do it now. We point to them because my kindergartner is ready for that. And we talk about the weather. We had kind of gotten away from that, but my kids really enjoy it. And so we just look out the window and talk about the weather and hang up the weather card for that day. And then after we do our calendar time, then this is where the new things come in. So we've done this before. I have a daily learning notebook that I got from Erica at Confessions of a Homeschooler. And we did it for preschool. I did try to start it at the beginning of kindergarten, but I, for some reason, like just dropped it. I don't know why, because my son actually kind of enjoys it. And so I just have this binder. The label is really old. I haven't changed it, and so ignore that. But I have my son write his name on lined paper every day. I think I don't know why, he knew how to spell his name at like 3.5, and all of a sudden he feels like he has to sound it out, and I'm not sure what that's all about. So we are practicing it more. And then after that, then it has these day of the week pages where he has to trace the day of the week. He colors in today's date, which I do have him do on his own because we just did it on the calendar, and he can look at the calendar and say, oh yeah, that's the date. And then he writes the number before and after. And then I have cards that slip in here that he can trace the number. So he's starting to learn that numbers also are spelled out in words. And so at this point, I'm kind of sort of telling him how to do this page because we haven't really done it a whole lot. But the idea is eventually he will know, like after we do it for a week or two, he'll know what to do, and I won't have to tell him what to do. This page he's always loved, and he knows exactly what to do. We have a thermometer. He may need my help figuring out what the temperature is, but then he can write it down and he can fill it in himself, and he colors what the guy should be wearing for the day, which he loves. The clock is kind of a hit or miss thing because of where he's at in telling time. But we do try to talk about it a little bit. And then he has a weather graph. This is not correct year, so we don't do anything with it. We do have a weather graph. That way he can do some practicing with reading graphs and making graphs and you know, how to use them. And then after all of that, I also got some Explode the Code books. I got 1.5 and 2 because I want it to build his confidence and be review. And so I didn't want it to be what he's learning now. I wanted it to be something he already knew to build that confidence up. And so this is definitely easy for him at this point. And so it was kind of perfect where I wanted it to be. So he'll do a page or two of this a day as well in his daily learning notebook. And so the purpose of this daily learning notebook is to work on certain skills that I think are really important for him to have, and to give him a foundation of working independently. Right now, I have to kind of explain everything right before he does each page, I explain it to him. But here very soon, even in the Explode the Code, because of how they, each lesson uses all the same kinds of worksheets. So eventually he will learn, I see this page, it means I do this thing. And so eventually this will all be things that he can look at and do without needing my explanations for. And that is exactly what I want to teach him, independence, as well as to give me time to spend with my 3-year-old before school really gets into the nitty-gritty for my kindergartner. So while my kindergartner is doing his daily learning notebook, this is the really super new part. I take my 3-year-old and we sit usually on the floor or at the table, depending on what we're doing, and I work with him. It's not crazy intense stuff. It's not, I wouldn't really call it school. I suppose some people call it Tot School, but it's super short, about 10 minutes. And so we've only done it for 2 days, but yesterday he was very excited that it was his turn. And that made me very happy. I think it shows that this is what he needed. So the past 2 days, we have spent time with puzzles and just really talking about the letters on the alphabet puzzle that we have, talking about the numbers on them, colors and shapes. And he just went through and went crazy with the puzzles and really enjoyed it. And so we just did that. I didn't really have, a big plan of what we should do. And so I just I offered him this puzzle. We did it together, and then he wanted to do more. And so that kind of stuff is what we're going to be doing, just colors and numbers and shapes and games to do with that during, his one-on-one Tot School time. And then after my kindergartner is done with his daily learning notebook, I wrap it up with my 3-year-old, and I have made some busy bins. I got the idea from Dina at Pursuing Peace. It is fabulous. I love it. I have enough ideas that I have some that I can rotate out to keep it fresh and new for my 3-year-old. And it's things that he can only do during school time. So they will be novel to him, exciting. And so the first day he did want to do the activity in the busy bin that I had for him. Yesterday, he just wanted to keep doing puzzles, and so I just let him keep doing puzzles. Basically, I want it to be something fairly productive for him, fairly quiet, that keeps his attention. And so that is the goal with that. I feel like I take the time to kind of fill him up as far as getting my attention, and then he can play a little bit from there. And it has worked okay. And then the rest of our routine really hasn't changed. We do our Bible memory verse as well as Bible time, which my younger son, he listens and sometimes colors along with my older son as the activity for the Bible story we've done. But, and then after the Bible stories, then I have ambitions to memorize poems and stuff, but we're just not doing that right now. So then after the Bible stuff, then we move on to our phonics reading. And I have started setting a timer for us to do it at 20 minutes only. I don't really think we go over that anyways, but just to keep myself accountable and not pushing my son too much. So we've been doing 20 minutes of that. Then we do a page of handwriting, and then we do math. And after all of that, then we move on, if time permits, if everybody's attitudes permit, if I have a loop schedule that includes arts, crafts, science, very early geography type stuff, history type stuff. And then we also do sometimes Spanish or sign language. And it's all in a loop schedule. Sorry, my dogs are barking at some other dog, I think. Hey! Sorry about that. So then we do this loop schedule, which means we can just pick whatever is next in line and just pick it up, do that activity. We can keep going. On Monday, we had a great day and we did 2 loop schedule things because we just had a super good day. Yesterday, we didn't do any loop schedule things because it wasn't a good day and it took us 2 hours to do things, our school, which really, our school work does not take that long. It was just bad attitudes. And so that's there. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I like to make sure that we do some sort of physical education. But I'm not super strict about doing that because my kids, I really do like to get them outside as much as possible, as much as the weather permits, as much as, you know, all that goes. And so if it's been a, you know, in the summertime or when warmer weather, or actually even when we have snow outside that they can play in and enjoy, that might be our gym instead. And maybe we've played outside 3 days that week. Well, I don't really need to do anything for gym. Although we did do gym yesterday because my son was very interested in playing Simon Says. So we did that. And my goal is, my hope, I don't know if it's a goal, my hope is to get all of this done before lunchtime. And that's very doable. Kindergarten, you don't have to do a ton of time with. And so that's very doable. And so then it depends upon how good attitudes have been and how well school has gone, whether or not they have time to do something else before lunch, or if it's like lunchtime because they've taken forever to do something simple. And then we eat lunch. After lunch, I love to send them outside if at all possible. And then after I send them outside, if it has been possible, then it's our, you know, we sit and I read aloud to them. I have a chapter book for my older kid, and then my younger son, chapter books are a little bit too much for him, so he gets to pick a book or 2 that I read it for him as well. So anyways, after our read aloud time, it's, you know, the day kind of shifts a little bit. And that is what we do for school. So I hope this video was helpful. Maybe it has given you some, you know, inspiration or ideas on how to change up your routine if it's not working. Please let me know in the comments what you have found to work, or maybe something new you're doing this new year. Because I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation. I do want to hear from you and get ideas from you as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.